investigating and modeling community resilience to flood hazards.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, as you see my talk, I would like to present a few case studies from developing Asia, especially in Southeast Asia and China. And it's not one specific study cases, but 3 cases put together and try to conclude something general from these 3 cases. And the main idea is to investigate how did and how does human society maintain and develop their resilience to environmental hazards, well, mainly flood in this case. Well, a lot of talks already talked. Definition of resilience, I'm not going to repeat that, but I want to highlight something as important aspect of resilience. Of course, infrastructures, hardware, engineering are very important in specific cases, and also in technology enhancement helps to improve resilience. Also, as we mentioned already, human behavior and community networks, as well as government and emergency management. These are all very important aspects. And I reorganize these aspects as physical aspects, social aspects, individual level, or system level. So, my 3 cases would focus on physical and social connections and individual and system interactions, as well as historical and present time scales. Yeah. So the first one is flood resilience at the Karakoram, Pakistan, which I did in the last 2 years. But the work is still undergoing to be published. But the research area is exactly in the northern part of Pakistan with Karakoram region, which is a vulnerable area with a lot of hazard, different kinds of hazard, as you see in the small table. And my work is to develop this kind of research framework, which contains historical flood events, statistical analysis, and also we select one specific recent flood event so that we can investigate, explore more details. And we go there and do field work, do household surveys, and then play with collected data with an agent-based model. As you see, we selected this Kuna River and the Shiran River basin, which are 2 branch rivers of the Indus River. We connected 100 household surveys there. It's very difficult because households are living very far from each other. You often have to take many very long time to reach one household and then to next the other ones. And luckily we have cooperation with local officers of NGOs, and we got some images from area-based images and also local places with pictures. We did interviews to local households. This is how we interview questionnaire papers. We ask them and fill in their answers there, and you see how we did that. Actually, local people are very happy to do this with us. They are curious about this thing, and they would usually spend one whole day with us. That's very good. We get very good responses, and from this case study, we got some first preliminary results. The local area is usually in lack of engineering infrastructure. That's the most important thing. No matter how good governance or management you have, but you don't have a dam, you don't have a bank there, it doesn't work at all. So infrastructure is the most important thing, and self and mutual relief are, of course, very important, especially family links and relatives or community links. Actually, there were not many people injured. Mostly are land, houses, especially crops damaged. Spontaneous recoveries need to be organized. There are many, when the flood event happens, many helps outside come to this area, but it's not organized and it's not optimized. Okay, Then second case is an agent-based model of household flood resilience, and we have topography, environment, and rainfall scenario, and also agent settings. Then these components come together, and the flood event and agent behaviors interactions. So the model runs. Model environment, yeah, environment, surface, building areas, modeling platform. Yeah, the key thing is that agents have different attributions. Every household is different. They have their own property and income, education level, and social networks. So we have this, and we set this behavior rules, so they could make decisions on what kind of rainfall scenarios, flood warning information, and they make different decisions based on their own knowledge and information available. Yeah, so that they behave differently. So then we have flood, rainfall scenarios, and the rain come from the sky to the ground, and the water flow together to be flood. Then the losses and the damages and the losses. It's very easy equations in hydrology. Then we calculate the investment and the cost of flood responses. I'm not going to explain the equation, but just some quick results. First is that we could run the model, of course, also very many times, so that each time and at different scenarios, strong rainfall or long, low quantity or short-term rainfall, different scenarios. You can run the model for many times and then compare the different results. Yeah. The key result would be that accurate warning information benefits greatly the flood prevention efforts in moderate and long duration rain. Because if it's very sudden rainfall for 10 minutes, the warning would not help that much. Also, it's very interesting that damage can be totally avoided with small investments in responding measures. So, effective response strategies is extremely important to play a great role in the flooding control. Yeah, the third case would be a historical period, a historical perspective of social resilience. So this is a book which just published 2 months ago, and I am leading on this. And here I have to present only one chapter in this book, which is the resilience of the human water system. That's the Southern Silk Road area. You may wondering where is the Southern Silk Road? It connects China to India, basically from southwest China to East India, across Bangladesh and also Myanmar. These regions, it's an ancient historical trade route as well. It's as significant as the traditional Silk Road in Central Asia, but this one is less known, especially in scientific communities. It has also more than 2,000 years long history across the mountains in this area, and my study region is really focused on this lake basin, very high lake, and we did data collection mainly from the historical documents, archives, and also some tree rain data done by my colleagues in the local area. Especially the basin is quite small, but they are very well developed river streams connecting each other. And in the long history period, the streams varies very frequently. Each flood event happens, the channel would come to different ways, so it often cause huge damage there. The more important or interesting thing is that the local people, they have different knowledge or tradition to deal with water. Like the indigenous people, they live at a hilly area, they suffered less flood. But the Han people, which is the main Chinese people from central China, they moved here with this military conquest. They lived at flat area, which often suffer from flood. But they can plant rice, vegetables, very good lined with good facility there. So good agricultural production, and also they construct river training engineer projects there to fight against flood. So these are, of course, the recent picture, but the things are built based on the historical principles and projects. They separate water from channel and farmland, separate water and sand, which works really very well. That's their smart local knowledge. And also, they have their own or very local religion. They believe in God of water, so to say. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but the villages, they have their own thing. They think maybe this year it's a damage, flood damage, but next year it will be better. They believe so, so then it gives them confidence and to live well, to develop well, which is plays also very good or very important role in their long time living there. So, if we concluding from this study, I would say that local knowledge is very important, so that they know where to live and where to avoid flood damages. And the engineer technology by mainly the Chinese people, the Central China people moving here, they help the local communities to build to construct infrastructures against the flood, and also the indigenous religions helps a lot. Of course, there are also some other challenges which need to be developed or dealt or addressed with, especially governing religions, things, indigenous people, and migrate. But anyway, it's a lot of interesting things to do. The last thing, I just try to get some general summaries from these case studies. First is that natural environment significantly, of course, influences human social and cultural dynamics, but socio-cultural systems are very active or active to such kind of impacts. They are able to certain to deal with this flood damages in a certain degree, I would say. Especially these four aspects: engineering measures, technical enhancement, individual behavior networks help each other, and social governance. Then I would say for the next step of the study, I would focus several things to be further studied. One is experience and knowledge, which require us to study the past with a perspective of history. If I work only on the present, you don't know how they act in the past. And also human behavior, as we already talked several times here already, social governance as well, quantitative and modeling tools. Of course, this need to be further developed. And I also share the ideas of the other presenters here to use questionnaire survey, household survey, plus with agent-based model, social network analysis. Together, we could further develop flood resilience studies very well. I think it's a promising direction to work on this. Yeah, the last slides, I just make a small advertisement. We are calling for papers on this special issue, social resilience to climate change, but many in the past. May some of you are interested in this. This is a special issue approved by the journal Environmental Research Letters, and I am coordinating this special issue. So we have quite still some time to develop this thing by end of this year. Basically, yeah, if you are interested, please let me know. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Maybe you can send the email about your special issues to all the participants. Yeah. Thank you. Taking through the Silk Road, I think, which is one of the most political and economic investment in that region. So, any question on this case studies? Yeah, Finn, please.
I have a question because it seems that you're kind of an expert for studying the past. I'm questioning the thing is that the right research question we need for the future to learn from the past. Isn't that there a bit of contradiction in it that we maybe did something not in the optimal or best way, but can also there wouldn't be a lot of change in the future if we still just study the past. So what needs to be happening to bring in more the transformative way of or the transition of the system to really bounce it forward?
Yes, definitely. That's definitely a good question, and I'm University of Kiel, northern Germany, and there a lot of historians, even archaeologists, they are working on a similar topic as we are thinking here today, risk and resilience, but they focusing on the very past, several thousand years, and they always investigate how people do at that time. I think that this kind of studies especially important for us because at that time people don't have this high-tech thing, good infrastructure. They really depend on their understanding, their knowledge, their experiences on the environmental impacts, so that if we learn something from them, we know that how we could do at present time. Not only rely on very technical things, but how we improve ourselves as a human, as family, as a community, household, how we could do. I mean, yeah, as our professors in Kiel, they always say that to study from the past and inform the present. That's definitely very valuable things here. Yeah.
Thank you. I would just go on with in this direction because I had a similar question. For me, I think it's good to learn about it and to understand the past, why we came to the risk and resilience what we have now. Therefore, we have to understand it. But what I learned from my studies now in the European Alps was like that we see like the leftovers. We don't see the destroyed buildings or settlements that were not rebuilt. So we don't see all the failures they did. We just see what these parts, these settlements, or the strategy, how they managed to do it.
Yeah.
But we left out all the failures.
Yes.
In this case, and I think we have to be aware of this when we study this and use it to interpret the present or use then the strategies for the future.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that's exactly the value of historians and archaeologists to study this topic. They are able to find out the failure events. You know, when they dig on the ground or they get archive documents, things, they are able to identify some failed events, disasters several hundreds or thousands years ago. They are able to find out what happened and what people have tried to cope with these disasters. That's really the value from that perspective. And we as geographers or hydrologists, we are not able to find underground things or so many years ago things. I think it's a good point which archaeologists or historians can work together with us, with geographers. Yeah.
I mean, one final questions if you have. Yeah, Mark, please.
Thank you very much for the talk. I just wanted to know with regards to the projects you did in Pakistan, if you involved local experts before constructing the questionnaire on the parameters that you collected, the results of flood risk, or it was based on a literature review you undertook and you collected the parameters there.
The parameters, yeah, as you say, that we have questionnaire which is well designed and have been used also in other cases. So it has proved that this is good and useful. We are able to connect very informative data from this questionnaire. The thing is, we are not sending the questionnaire to local people and ask them to fill these questions. We are talking to them. And we ask the questions and write down their answers. So we know what to ask, and according to their answers, we may ask some further questions which are not in the questionnaire. So that makes sure we are able to catch up with some important information which we didn't design to. So that's
okay. Yeah, maybe just an additional comment. Why I ask is because understand flood risk drivers to be different in different places. What's important in one area may not be the major parameter in other areas, and that's why sometimes you have local context playing a different part, and the involvement of local experts also. Just to,
yeah. We have, of course, a standard questionnaire, but it depends on the research area. We could change it slightly, and we have local cooperators, and they give comments which questions could be good, which are not nice to ask, something like that. Yeah, that's possible.
Maybe it's a very interesting talk. Maybe a final